Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss with a new chapter called measurement and scale. First of all, we can look into what do you mean by the meaning of measurement. Measurement, it is the systematic way of assigning numbers or names to objects and their attributes. And through the measurement, it helps the researcher to make comparison of the amounts and changes in the variable. And next one is scaling. What is the meaning of scaling? So scaling, it is the extension of measurement, and it is the procedure for determining the quantitative measure of an abstract concept. We know what you mean by abstract concept, like love, the hard work. We cannot express in quantitative terms. That terms can be called as the abstract concept. By using scaling, we can determine the quantitative measure of this abstract concept. So these are the basic things regarding the measurement and scaling. And next one, the types of measurement scales. The measurement scales can be classified into four types. First one is nominal scales, second one is ordinal scales, third one is interval scales, and fourth one ratio scales. First of all, we can look what do you mean by nominal scales. From the name itself, it is clear that it is just nominal in nature. So it is simply a system of assigning numbers or symbols to events in order to label them. Suppose for example, if the players are playing the football, we can label that particular player in order to identify them. So that type of scales can be called as nominal scales. So nominal scales helps to identify the person through labeling. That is the nominal scale. And second one is ordinal scales. Ordinal scale, it is also called as ranking scales, and this ordinal scale places events in order. Okay, so if we are assigning numbers to the players, we can pick one of the player for player number 1, player number 2, player number 3, likewise. Okay, so it is a scale which is used to place events in an order. That type of scale can be called as ordinal scale. And third one, interval scales. So interval scales add information about the distance between ranks. Okay, for example, 10 to 20. So there will be a lot of measurements in between this 10 as well as 20. So interval scales helps to measure the quantitative values that is lying between these 10 as well as 20. So this type of scale can be called as interval scales. So it adds information about the distance between ranks. And the last scale is a ratio scale. Ratio scales, it is the highest measurement scale, and all forms of the arithmetic operations can be meaningfully applied to ratio scale. So we can say that in this type of scale, in the ratio scale is the highest measurement scale. So these are the types of measurement scale, that is nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale, and ratio scales. And next we are going to discuss the sources of error in measurement. While we are conducting a research, we have to collect numerous data. So if we are collecting data, we have to measure that particular data. So if you are measuring that particular data, there may be chances of errors. So we are going to discuss what are the sources of error in measurement. First one is respondents' reluctance. Okay, so if you are conducting a research, we are collecting data from the respondents. Sometimes the respondents may reluct to express their strong negative feelings while they are filling the questionnaire or we are interviewing them. So that is the source of error in measurement. That is respondents' reluctance. And second one is situational factors. So in some situations, the respondents are reluctant to express the feelings and ideas fully. So that is a situational factor, because the respondents are they are facing so many situations in their life. In that time, we are going to interview them. In that particular situation, he may reluct to express his feelings and ideas fully. That is also a source of error. That is called the situational factors. And third one is fault with the interviewers. Interviewer itself commits some errors. So the interviewer can twist the replies that is given by the respondents. Okay, so if we are receiving the information from the respondents, we may record in a faulty manner, or we may reorder the answers or questions that is provided. Okay, so it is the fault with the interviewer. It is also a source of error. And next one is defective measurement. So, if defective measurement are adopted in our research, it will make error because the use of complex words or the poor printing or inadequate space for the replies are the types of error in the defective measurements. Okay, so these are the sources of error in measurement. First one is respondent's reluctance, second one situational factors, third one fault with interviewers, and fourth one defective measurements. And next topic is construction of instrument. Okay, so in order to measure something, we have to construct some instruments also. So the research instruments can be classified into two broad categories. First one is researcher completed instrument, and second one subject completed instruments. In researcher completed instruments, we can use rating scales, interview schedules or guides, then tally sheets, flow charts, performance checklist, time and motion logs, observation forms. So these are the researcher completed instruments. And next one is subject completed instruments. In subject completed instruments, a researcher can use questionnaires, self-checklist, attitude scales, personality inventories, achievements or aptitude tests, projective devices, and sociometric devices. So these are the main tools that is used by the researcher for the construction of instrument. And next one, what are the features of a good measurement tool, or how can we make a good measurement tool, or what are the factors to be considered while we are making a measurement tool? First one is the tool should be valid. That means validity should be there, measurability should be there, reliability should be there, and it should be unidimensional in nature. Then linearity should be there, practicability should be there, accuracy should be there, simplicity should be there. So we have to consider those factors while we are making a measurement tool or instrument while conducting the research. And next one, the main topic, frequently used scaling techniques. Okay, so frequently used scaling techniques that is used by the researcher are rating scales, dichotomous scale, category scale, Likert scale, and there are many more scales we will discuss. First one is a rating scale. So rating scale, it means measuring an attribute by judgment in a range. Okay, so we are selecting a particular range and we are trying to measure an attribute which lies in that particular range. That can be called as the rating scale. And second one, dichotomous scale. Dichotomous, di means two. Okay, so dichotomous scale, it is the scale that is used to draw out yes or no answers. And third one is category scale. In category scales, we use multiple items to draw out a single response. So in order to gather a single response, we will provide multiple choice questions to the respondents. That can be called as the category scale. And the next one is Likert scale. This scale is developed by Francis Likert, and he developed a summative range based on item analysis. That can be called as the Likert scale. And next one, semantic scale. So semantic scale, this type of scales make extensive use of words rather than numbers. So if we are using, in our questionnaire, we are using more words rather than numbers, it can be called as the semantic scales. And next one, itemized rating scale. So in the itemized rating scale, the respondents are provided with a scale having numbers as well as the descriptions associated with each category. So the respondents have the full freedom to make particular option. So it can be called as the itemized rating scale. And next one is numerical scales. From the name itself, it is clear that we are using the numerical measurements. Okay, so the numbers on a 5 points or 7 points are provided with bipolar objectives on both ends. That can be called as numerical scale, and it is also called as the interval scale because we are using the numerical measurements to measure something. And next one is graphic rating scale. It is also clear from the name, we are using the graphic rating. Okay, so a graphical scale helps the respondents to mark their answers on a particular question by placing a mark on the appropriate point on the line. Okay, so we will be providing a line graph or a graph, and the respondents have to put a mark on that particular graph. Okay, so thus we can get the exact measurement from that particular scale. That can be called as the graphic rating scale. And next one, fixed or constant scale. So the respondents are asked to distribute a given number of points across various items. So we will be providing more items. The respondents have to make points. Okay, so that can be called as fixed or constant scale. And next one, there is a classification of ranking scales. Okay, so ranking scales are used to rank some objects or items. Okay, it includes the paired comparison, comparative scales as well as forced choice. First one, paired comparison scale. So under this method, the respondent can express his attitude by making a choice between two objects. So that is pair. Okay, we are providing two things or two objects. So the respondents can make or select one of the pair. Okay, so it helps the respondents to express his attitude to make a choice between two objects. That is paired comparison. And next one is comparative scale. So it provides a benchmark or a point reference to assess the attitude towards the current object. Okay, so we will be providing a benchmark or point. Okay, to know the attitude of the respondents towards that particular object. That can be called as the comparative scale. And next one is forced choice. Okay, from the name itself it is clear that we are forcing the respondents. Okay, so it enables the respondents to rank the objects relative to one another among the alternative providers. Okay, so we will be providing more alternatives. So he is forced to make a particular mark on that particular options. Okay, so it can be called as the forced choice method. And the non-comparative scales are also there. That is, it includes continuous rating scales and also line marking scale. First one is continuous rating scale. So in continuous rating scales, the respondents are asked to give a rating by placing a mark at the appropriate position on a continuous line. So we will be providing a line which consists of numerical measurements, and the respondents are asked to put a mark on that particular line. That can be called as continuous rating scale. And so line marking scale. So this line marking scales, it is typically used to measure similarly differences between the products, brands or other objects. So there may be difference between the products, brands or any other objects. So it will be easy to the respondents to mark that particular difference in a particular point. Okay, that is the use of line marking scale. Thank you.